If you're looking for a good, simple, homemade comfort food classic, well, you've come to the right spot. This basic white sauce recipe, it'll blow your mind. It's rich, it's creamy, it's delicious, it's simple to make. It'll have you coming back for more, I guarantee it. Welcome to the Sauce and Gravy channel. This is Johnny Mac, and we're going to dive into a delicious pasta sauce, a comfort food classic, an Alfredo sauce recipe. Buckle up, let's go. All right, let's go ahead and start off this comfort food classic. This is an American Italian creamy pasta dish, comfort food at its finest. We're going to start off working with the Parmesan. We're using Parmesan Reggiano, 1.5 cups or 80 grams. It's preferable to use a fresh block of the Parmesan. However, if you don't have that, using the pre-grated store-bought is fine. But I just do find that the fresh grated version is a little bit more tasty and it melts better into the sauce. So there you go, there you have it. We have the bulk of our flavor created. We have the Parmesan Reggiano. We have it shredded finely. So we're ready to move on to the next step for the prep work. Now it's time to move on to the second main ingredient for this homemade Alfredo sauce. We're going to move on to the garlic. To bring out that special homemade taste for this delicious white sauce, this Alfredo sauce, it's best to use fresh garlic. So go ahead, smash the garlic, peel the garlic, chop it up, mince it, and then of course, smash it into the board. Take that flat part of that knife, smear that garlic, smash it into the board. That will help release all of those delicious flavors into this Alfredo sauce. Now the beauty of the Alfredo sauce is it's really easy to make. There's only two main ingredients. You have the Parmesan, you have the garlic. Everything else you just kind of throw it together. So it's really simple to make. The prep work's not that hard. Throw in the pasta, have the pasta going while you're doing the prep work. You can use fettuccine, you can use tagliatelle or pappardelle, or any sort of large pasta. You'll want to use those big thick noodles so that this homemade Alfredo sauce can stick to them. Alright, so the prep work's complete. Go ahead and grab a high-sided saucepan, put it over low to medium heat. We're going to grab 4 tablespoons of butter, or roughly around 57 grams. We're going to slowly melt this down. We don't want to brown the butter. This is a white sauce. The Alfredo sauce is white, so just slowly melt that butter down. So the butter looks perfect. Now it's time to go ahead and add the garlic. So same thing here with the garlic. We're going to treat it really gently. We're over low heat, low to medium heat. This will help to gradually bring out that delicious garlic flavor into the butter and help it infuse, to help give this homemade from scratch Alfredo sauce a little bit of a pop of garlic. So it's been about 2 to 3 minutes and we've gently sauteed that garlic. At this point, you'll just start to notice that the butter and the garlic is starting to sizzle. So once you reach that point, then it's time for our next step, time to add the cream. I'm adding 1.5 cups or 375 milliliters of heavy cream. So we're going to use the same method that we used for the butter as well as the garlic. We're going to use a slow and low cooking technique. So keep that burner over low to medium heat. We're going to ever so slightly bring up the temperature of this sauce. This is going to take about 3 to 5 minutes. Make sure that you whisk it. Make sure everything's well incorporated in. You want to kind of feel it, get a touch for it, stick that finger in it. Make sure that it gets to a nice temperature. You don't want it to boil. You don't want it to be too hot. You just want it to be hot enough in order to melt that cheese. A good indicator to know whenever this mixture is ready to go and it's warm enough is once it starts to steam, then you're ready to go. Alright, so now it's time to add that Parmesan Reggiano to this delicious creamy Alfredo sauce. We're going to put in 1.5 cups or 80 grams. Put a little bit of it in at a time, mix it up, use that whisk. As you can see, the more that you put in, the creamier and the richer this Alfredo sauce is getting. For this step of the sauce making process, it's all about just infusing those flavors as well as just concentrating this sauce, bringing out that thickness, that richness, that creaminess. It's going to take about 3 to 5 minutes. It's not too terribly long, so just kind of watch it, break out that whisk, give it a little bit of a whisk, and let that sauce just do its thing. You'll want to go ahead and retire that whisk, grab a spoon, scrape the sides, scrape the bottom, make sure that everything's well incorporated, and after a few minutes, once it starts to get steamy, it starts to get thick, once this Alfredo sauce starts to coat the back of that spoon and you run your finger down it and that line stays, well, my friends, you are good to go. That homemade Alfredo sauce is ready to roll. Now for a few finishing touches, we're going to add a little bit of spice, some white pepper, 1/4 of a teaspoon just to give it a little bit of a taste, a little bit of a kick. And then just a little bit of a dash of salt. So just make sure that you taste it before you put the salt in, and then adjust it to your liking. Give it a little bit of a stir, make sure everything is well incorporated. And then you can add any sort of other ingredients that you like, or you can just keep it simple like this, but you could add chicken to it. Saute some chicken, throw it on in. Saute some shrimp, throw it in. Put in some broccoli, put in some vegetables, throw in tofu, whatever you like, taster's choice. I'm just gonna keep it simple, just a basic white sauce recipe, just the Alfredo sauce by itself. So we're at the point of getting ready to throw in the noodles. Check it out, we're gonna use some fettuccine, but before we do that, give it one last little stir. Just admire this sauce, this homemade Alfredo sauce. It's rich, it's thick. Check out all those little chunks of garlic. You could just see their little small taste bombs getting ready to go off. It's just absolutely delicious. And after you try this homemade from scratch Alfredo sauce recipe, you will never ever buy a store-bought Alfredo sauce again. It's just so simple to make. You just put in the butter, saute some garlic, put in some cream, throw in the Parmesan cheese, reduce it down for a teeny tiny bit, throw in the noodles and whatever else you want to throw in, and bam, taste explosion. And now for the final step, just go ahead and grab your noodles of choice. Like I said, I'm using fettuccine. Go ahead and grab them, throw them on in. And we still have the burner on low heat. You definitely want to have that on. We're incorporating in those noodles. We're going to kind of mix it in. We're heating it up a little bit. Those noodles are al dente, so it needs to cook a tiny bit more, just ever so slightly, to kind of infuse those flavors into the noodles and get everything nice and warmed up for a delicious meal. And there you go, my friends, a delicious white sauce, a homemade Alfredo sauce. Go on out, try it out, come on back, leave us a comment, let us know what you think. Well, thanks for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this from scratch homemade Alfredo sauce recipe. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe below, and to remember, as always, live, love, and make gravy.